Yes, you are in mute.
Yeah. Sorry. So, hello everyone. Good evening. So, welcome to today's webinar on the topic multi-tenant LMS. Thanks for joining us today. Let me start this session with a quick introduction first about 3E software solutions. So, myself, Sasank here. I lead digital marketing at 3E Software Solutions. Along with me on the speaker panel, we have Mr. Viresh from 3E. Viresh is the practice head for e-learning solutions delivery. Before I pass it over to the speaker panel, let me give you a quick intro about 3E Software Solutions. We are a technology company providing e-learning solutions to training, education, and corporate industries. We are versed in designing and developing full-fledged e-learning ecosystems, for example, LMS and e-commerce for training businesses, LMS and virtual classroom integration for academia and training, and LMS and ERP for corporates. Well, this is a very brief one-liner kind of intro about us. So, Viresh will lead the today's webinar and he will walk you through the design considerations required for multi-tenant LMS. What are the key capabilities of multi-tenant LMS and a brief demo of multi-tenant LMS. So as the session goes on, you may post your queries to myself on the private chat and we will take up your queries at the end of the session. So that is a quick set base of this session. Now, without further delay, we will start the session. Viresh, now it is all over to you.
Yeah. Thanks, Session, for passing over the handle. So uh, hello everyone. So now we get started. So basically, this webinar includes, as Session mentioned, about the design considerations for a multi-tenant LMS and how the multi-tenant LMS looks like and how the tenants have been onboarded, and you will be getting to know more information on this. So let me start with the introduction part. So what you will learn in the webinar. So in this webinar, you will be, as I mentioned you, so the key considerations, as before coming to the key considerations and other things, let me explain a brief about LMS. LMS, as you already know, it's a learning management system where your content and then the role management, user management, reporting, and everything combined into a single place. And there we call it as learning management system, where your learning will be tracked and there will be different roles attached to it. Okay, so that's how the definition of an LMS. So multi-tenant LMS, it's nothing but the same LMS, single LMS system, and which will be distributed among different tenants. So that is what we call it as multi-tenant LMS. So coming to the key considerations, what all things will be included in multi-tenant LMS if you want to build it. So the tenants administration, how you manage your tenants and how you manage your users inside each tenant, and how the course administration, like how the tenant will manage their course administration, and how license works, how you create the licenses as a host and how you distribute it to tenants. Certificates here, like each tenant will design their own certificate. I'll be explaining it to you over the demo as well. Reports, here there will be different types of reports as per different roles. Host will have different kinds of reports, tenant will have different kinds of reports based on their like access to the system. And competencies, learning plans. Competencies, again here, it will be based on the host and the tenants. So tenants can create their own competencies and even they can borrow it from host as well. So host can create a competency framework and he can share it across the tenants. Even learning plans, it's the same. Learning plans can be created by tenants and even it can be borrowed from host as well. So host will be creating the learning plans and will be distributing it to tenants, where tenants will use their learning plans and attach it to the competencies, and distribute it to their learners. Okay. These are the key considerations which will be included. And coming to this multi-tenant LMS structure, obviously it's a shared LMS where you will be having a, right now, as you can see, as a overall idea, the multi-tenant LMS is nothing but will have different database where each tenants will be managed across different databases. But as per our system, we actually have single database, and but we have we will be sharing the same database with across the tenants by this, by separating it through some components. Okay, so that is what the diagram states. So getting started with multi-tenant LMS, as I already told you, multi-tenant LMS is a system where you can manage multiple tenants, and there will be host admin who onboards the tenant organizations and assigns a subdomain per tenant. Okay, so for example, in this case, we consider as our own domain, and then we create subdomains whenever we onboard a new tenant, and they'll have their own branding and they'll have their own logo attached to it. So once they access that respective URL, they feel that they have their own system. So that's how the flexibility provided by multi-tenant LMS. And even host can share the courses with tenants, and even tenants will be able to create their own courses as well, and it can be shared across the learners within their tenant structure. So the coming to the features, probably I'll be able to show it to you in the demo, but let's just quick, we'll have a quick glance of features, what is available. So, and we actually categorized in different manners. I mean to say, tenant administration and user management, course administration and license management. Under tenant administration, as I already told you, we have host organization, and we'll be having multiple tenant organizations. So the same way, host admin creates tenant organization and assigns a subdomain. And tenants may get their own branded login page. That's what I mentioned. Tenants may have multiple departments. They can create their own departments and assign department managers to each department. And tenants can manage their users. I mean to say, they can manage department managers, and basically department managers will be able to manage the learners which are being part of it, part of the department. So coming to the course administration and license management, so that's pretty much clear. Already I shared about the host owned courses with tenants, and also host may assign number of licenses. So the licensing is a very unique feature which is present in our multi-tenant LMS. So they can create the licenses and they can assign it to different tenants. That's how the tenant journey uh, starts. So the tenant will be able to access the license, and the courses will be attached to that license, and they will be having that um, what you can say, the access, so that they can distribute that licenses among the users. Even they can create distribute the licenses across their child companies as well. I mean to say sub companies or sub tenants, we call it. That I'll be able to showcase it to you in today's webinar, how they can distribute, how they can split. The host can create, because here the licensing types we have, one is trial license and is perpetual license. So trial license, it comes with a duration, but as per the system, we considered it as a 14 days free trial. That is how, but we can change it as per the host needs. If you want to give a trial of 30 days, that can be even customized. And perpetual license considered in this system is 1 year. Okay, so whenever you want to create a license, these are the two types. And even tenants can add their own courses and they can distribute it to their learners. So this is what you get in course administration and license management. Coming to the next set of things, certificates and reports. Host can view reports at course level, at tenant level. Okay, and the tenant can view the reports at course level and department level. That's how the reporting will be looking like. I'll be able to showcase it um, in this demo as well. Tenants can issue certificates to their users, and tenants can customize the certificates as well. So certificate actually can be added with a logo, with their own branding, and even they can upload their signatures, and that's how they can customize their certificates. And that is about the certificates and reports. So coming to the competencies and learning plans, so okay, as I told you, host can add competencies at global level, and they can create competency frameworks, and they can be shared with tenants. So those, so that the tenants will use their competencies and learning plans, and then they can distribute across their learners. That's how the competencies and learning plans uh, look like. So now we go through a quick glimpse of multi-tenant LMS. I mean to say, I'll just walk through a demo where I'll be showcasing uh, how a multi-tenant LMS looks like for a host, and what all the capabilities the host will have. And once the host handle is being passed over to the tenant, what the tenant, how the tenant will look the system, and what all things that he can do on the tenant dashboard. And I'll be able to showcase probably the licensing, how the licensing gets, how the licenses are getting created, how it can be distributed, who will be approving the license. So these are the things that I'll be able to showcase. So let me share my screen. I hope I hope everyone is able to see my screen. So right now, as you can see, this is the host dashboard. Okay, this is how the multi-tenant LMS looks for a host, and host will have a lot of privileges on with respect to the system. They can create a company. As you can see, they can manage companies, they can edit any companies. I mean to say, you can consider this term as tenant here. Okay, so they can manage departments, they can assign departments managers or users. So these are the different types of privileges they have. They have users, they can approve the course to the user, they can create new users, they can edit existing users. So this is they can upload and download the accounts which are present in the system. And courses, they can assign it to company by because host will be creating the courses, and they can directly assign it to company. And if they want to attach it in the form of license, even they can attach it in numbers, and then they can share it with the tenant. And competencies, this is how the global level competencies can be set up by the host. And even here you can see that how you can assign it to different tenants, assign learning plan templates and assign competencies to different tenants. And there is another section, e-commerce. I'll be able to explain it more on my next webinar about this e-commerce, micro learning threads and reports. But in this webinar, I'll be able to cover up to licenses, and I'll be able to showcase how a new tenant is onboarded and how it will flow from there. Okay, so now what I need to do is, as a host, I need to onboard a new tenant. So for that, you need to click on this option called create company. So once you click this create company, I'll be able to see a form in this way: long name, short name, location, and the country, first name. Okay, so on while onboarding the tenant, you will be onboarding a administrator as well. So right now, what we have implemented is, once the tenant is onboarded, information along with the tenant admin will be onboarded as well. And you, as I was mentioning it to you, you can mention your URL as well. This is the subdomain part that I was talking about. So you can check the availability, that it is available or not. As you can see, it is saying that it is available and you can use this. Okay, so this is how the onboarding form looks like, and I can do the settings of appearance. I can upload a logo, I have already uploaded a logo, and I can do some branding changes against the tenant. So once, and even I can design the certificate, I can upload the logo, and I can upload the signature for the tenant. Even this configurations will be available for the tenant admin as well once they log into the system. So now what I'll do is I'll just click on save new company. So as you can see, this tenant was created successfully. So, but until unless you assign a license to them, they'll not be able to log into the system. So that's how the restriction is there on our current system. So here, what I'll be able to showcase is how I'll create a license. So now what I'll do is I'll go under this licenses, and I'll go under this license management. So for this Manchester, I'll create a new license. So as I told you, the license type might be trial or a perpetual. So I'm just clicking on perpetual. Automatically, it takes up the 1 year perpetual license with 14 days trial as well, because free trial will be for 14 days, and it covers that as well. So it will be available up to 2021. And how many numbers? I can say I'll attach some 300 licenses, and then I'll select a course which where I need to attach that license to this. I mean to say where I need to attach the course to a license. So once I click on update license allocation, so as you can see, the license type is perpetual, and identifier it automatically created with the date, and approval status is pending. So here, how it works is there will be different roles. Now host, actually you can think of a scenario that host will provide all these privileges to a sales agent, um, where sales agent will come and create the license, and then the sales manager will be able to approve the license. So as a next step, what I can show you is like, since I am an host, I have all the privileges. Now I have the, now you can imagine that I have logged in as a sales manager, and I am approving this license. Okay, once this approve, once if you can imagine, I'll click on approve license now. So once I click on approve license, the status, as you can see, change from pending to approved. Once I do that, so as you can see, this was the one of the email that you have configured. Actually, as you can see this message, congratulations, your license has been approved. Now, once you get this email, this is a tenant email. So tenant, I am a tenant admin. I got this email. Now I will be able to log into my system. So I will be able to show you, because since I know I have onboarded the tenant, I know the URL. So this is the one. So I'll be able to get the username as a user. So right now, what I am doing is I get an email. After getting that email, I'll be able to log in with this details. So once I log in, as you can see, this is the tenant dashboard, and here you will have only minimal privileges. So not like an host. And here you can see that your company is Manchester, and you have all the options. Like under company, you will be able to edit your own company, and I mean to the balance and licenses. If you come here, and you will be able to see the license management, and you can check that, okay, this is the perpetual license and this is being approved, and I'll be able to use this license now, okay, because this was being actually allocated by the host. So this license contains this 3 course, so I'll be able to access that course, and even I can allocate these licenses to different users as well. Okay, so right now we have restricted that to the company admin, but I'll be able to showcase how the license allocation works. So now the license are already created. So now how to actually now the license are created in 300 numbers. So since this doesn't contain any child companies, I mean to say the sub-tenants, I'll be able to showcase it with another example where I already created a tenant called 3 software solutions. I created tenants like 3 child 1 and child 2, and how the split of the licenses works, I'll be able to showcase it to now. So I'll just switch back to another role with a company called 3 software solutions. As you can see, so here if you go under this selection, you are able to see a company 3 child 1 and child 2, and already if you go under licenses, you are able to see that there is an already one license which is allocated for this respective company, and it is already approved. So for now, you can think of a scenario: the tenant is having multiple subtenants where they are located in different branches. So now I got the licenses in 300 number. I want to split that licenses across our child companies, across our child tenants, you can think of. So now what I will do is I have 2 child companies here, 3 child 1 and 3 child 2. What I will be doing is I will be allocating 200 licenses to child company 3 child 1 and 100 remaining license to 3 child 2. So I'll be able to see an option called split. So what does the split works? How does it split works? Whenever I click on split, so you are able to see that parent license name with the identifier and what is being used. So right now available are 300 and nothing are used. Now what is the designated company that you want to assign? So for example, now I'll click on 3 child 1 and child 2. These are the 2 child companies which are present for this parent company, and I'll be able to assign the number of licenses to it. Okay, now I'll select perpetual only, because since it was automatically a perpetual license, it should be selected. So now I'll split 200 licenses. The number of licenses to allocate, there are 300. I am allocating 200 to child 1. Once I click on update license allocation, you can see that maximum is 300 and already I used 200, and now I am left with 100. So if you want to see that child 3 child 1 is able to see that licenses or not, I'll just go back to my dashboard. I'll switch my role from 3 software solutions parent company to child company. So whenever I select 3 child 1, if I go under license management, as you can see, there is a perpetual license, and here I have 200. So this was the one which was actually allocated by the parent company. So you can think in a scenario that now I logged in as a child company manager and I am able to see this. Since this goes for a approval review, so what happens is this should be approved by the main manager. Once it splits the licenses, right, there will be another process of approving it as well. So this is how a parent company can actually split the available licenses across child companies. So as you saw now, I actually I splitted around 200 licenses to child 1. Now what I'll do is I'll just go under, I'll select my parent company, I'll go under license management, and then if you can see now, parent license amount used already 200. I have left with 100 slots, and I can assign it to 3 child 2, and I'll assign all 100 licenses. Once I click on update license allocation, you can see that it is maximum is 300, it is used is 300. Now I am done with this. I mean to say the parent company manager have been actually used all the licenses, but he distributed these licenses across the child companies. So whenever the child company or the the subtenant, they logs into the dashboard, they sees these types of licenses, and they can allocate that licenses to different departments if they created. For example, in each child companies, they might be having some departments, and there in the inside the department, if you can see here, there is an option where you can manage departments. Okay, you can go under this manage departments, and you can create a department as well. Okay, whenever I select 3 software solutions, whenever I click on create department, I'll be able to create a department. And once I have done this, once I create this department, so what I can do is I can assign department managers to this respective um, department as well. Right now I haven't created any departments, but this is how the department management works, so that you can create departments and you can manage the departments. You can even assign department managers to that respective departments. And so this is the overall idea of how the host will create onboard a tenant, and he creates a license where he will be attaching the courses. Once he attaches the courses to a license and uh, assigns it to the tenant now will be able to log in, and he'll be able to use that license and means distribute that license among departments. And now the learners or the users will be able to use that licenses, I mean to say the courses, and they'll be able to consume that courses. So that's one part. And the second part that whatever I mentioned was, if the tenant had sub tenants, I mean to say if the tenants had some child companies, even they can distribute or they can split that licenses among the child companies, and that's how it can be distributed. That is one thing that I even showcased, covered in this webinar. So this is the company management side, how the companies can be managed and how it works. Coming to the users section, as I told you, as a company manager, you can create a user. Okay, whenever I select a user, you will be able to see this option. You can enter all the details, and if you want to assign some roles, even you can do it here as well. For example, right now I want to assign a company manager role, because even I am the company manager, I can assign some another secondary company manager here, so that he can take care of some things. And even if I create departments and department managers, even you will be able to see this option, department training manager. So this is how a user can be onboarded onto a company by a company manager. This is how you onboard the users in one by one. But even you have an option, if you can see upload users, you can upload a CSV where it contains all the user information, and you can upload it directly. And here while uploading the CSV, you can mention the roles on CSV. Then automatically what happens is that users, whenever they created on the system, they will be given with that respective role. So you can do this bulk upload feature as well. You can upload the users in bulk using the CSV upload functionality. And you can even download the users if you want, who are all being a part of this respective company. So if you by using this option, you will be able to download that as well. So coming to the courses section, so that's what I was mentioning it over the presentation as well, that you can create your own course, because the host actually created a license and assigned it to you. But even if you want to have your own courses which will be circulated among the learners inside your company, you can do that as well. For example, if you click on create course, you will be able to see the form, and you will be able to enter all these details. and once you click on create course, your course will be created and it can be enrolled. Okay, if you can see this user enrollments, right now there is a course. Because why this course is coming up is because I allocated the license which is being created. So under that license, this course was attached to it. For that reason, I'm able to see this 3 course which is available. And here you will be able to see uh, how to enroll, because this is enrollment works for a only student role. Okay, if you have number of users in your company, those users will be listed here, and you can select the user and you can click on enroll. Once you do that, so what happens is the respective user will be enrolled onto that respective course. So this is for the internal courses which are created by the tenant. If you are attaching the licenses, then obviously once you attach the license to a department manager or a respective user, for example, each license will have number of courses attached to it as well. It's not like single license will have single course. Okay, so it may contain multiple courses is a license. Okay, if you assign that license to a respective user, then what happens is automatically he gets enrolled onto that courses which are attached to that license. Okay, that's the overall uh, like idea of the license, so that you will be you get to know, okay, this is how the licensing works. Licensing with courses is little advanced when you compare it with the normal courses, how you do the enrollment. Okay, so this is with respect to the courses. Even you can create course groups. Okay, and you can create learning paths, so that how you there is a learning path that I created, but even you can create a new path and you can what you can say, define your learning path, how the learning path should be. So this is how the complete course section looks like. And coming to the licenses, I guess I covered most of the things, that how license management works on this part. So competencies, I think competencies and the reports. This is what you get on the quick links. How you manage your Iomad framework. Sorry, how you manage your company framework settings and competency frameworks, and how you assign the learning plans, and how you create a templates, and how you manage your competency frameworks as well. So this is the competency section. Coming to the reports, this is actually the view of a tenant. So here, these reports, whatever you are able to see, it is with respect to the tenant. Okay, tenant means they'll be having only respective reports. If you log in as a host, and under this report section, you will be able to see more reports based on tenant. Right now in the tenant administration, you will be able to see the reports only based on the course, based on the department. Okay, and what are the license allocations happened onto that respective tenant, and what is the login report for that respective users who are part of that respective tenant. So these are the things that you get in the tenant administration panel. Yep. And I guess I hope I covered the whatever the agenda was discussed. I mean to say companies, and then user section, courses and licenses. So in the next upcoming webinar, I'll be able to showcase how competencies and how reports looks like, and what are the micro learning threads, how it is being created, and what is the use of it. And even I'll cover how you can connect it to your e-commerce store. Okay, so if you have a e-commerce store, e-commerce which is already created by you externally, and if you want to even create internally as well, so how does it work? How you connect the course with the payment gateway? How you connect the licenses with the payment gateway? So those parts will be covered in the next webinar session, which will be the second part, which will be the continued session on this side. Okay, so yeah, I hope I covered most of the things. So I think we can take up the questions. Um, so let me take up some questions quickly. So the first question, can your learning plan be created by a tenant using competencies defined by the host and the competencies defined by a tenant? Yes, learning plan can be created by tenant, okay, using the competencies, and even that can be shared by the host, even that is available. Yes, we'll be able to, the tenant will be able to create that learning plans, okay. And for this more detailed thing, if you are part of the next webinar session, I'll be able to showcase how learning plans will be created by tenant and how it will be used, okay. So the next question here, is there a way to suspend a tenant for any reason? Yeah, there are like is there a way to suspend a tenant for any reason? Yes, we have the option to suspend the tenants, even suspend the subtenants as well. So but I hope that was your query. I mean to say, to suspend it. Yes, we have that privilege to suspend it as well. So the next question is, does it support reskilling training? As an example, three course, as in your example, has been successfully completed by learners. Now the host releases a newer version of three course every year or every 6 months, and now tenants would automatically get enrolled to a newer version in this course. Was this use case handled earlier for any implementation? Yeah, this part is about the course versioning. Right now, so if you are updating the course, for example, the as you mentioned it, on a three course, as a host admin, if I am updating the course on a frequent basis, so obviously it will be reflected onto the tenants as well, because since the the course will three course, whatever I mentioned it in the system, it is handled by the host. But if you want to create the different versions out of it, yes, we need to see that how can we manage it, but right now we haven't considered. But yes, this will be a good use case. It can be customized accordingly so that we can create the versionings out of it, and then we can whenever any new version comes out, we can uh, enroll it to the companies which have been already having our licenses. Okay. Whenever a course, the next question is, whenever a course for reskilling is available, can a notification be sent to tenants who may need to reskill the team? Same for upskilling. So if you have not already handled this, you may check and let me know. Yeah. So this part on with respect to the reskilling available, yes, as I mentioned it in the last question as well, whenever I was answering. So this reskilling part is not being considered right now, but by doing them customizations, we'll be able to enable it, and whoever the tenants have been actually already subscribed to our licenses, they'll be able to get that notification. So in the use case, when we do the reskilling and upskilling, we can consider this, and it will be an customized implementation on the existing system. Right now we don't have this feature, but it can be implemented upon this. So the next thing, preach core requisites, please share. Yeah, I think like there is something on prerequisites on licensing and core requisites. Yes, we'll be able to share the use cases uh, with you. Like, I mean to say, we'll be able to, whatever the use cases that we actually implemented, we'll be able to share it, how the licensing can be considered for prerequisites and co-requisites. So next question, I3 team have got a query on the time definition for a limited time licenses against a perpetual licenses. For limited time, is it about the time before which the course enrollment should happen, or it is about the time from the day of enrollment, or it is about the time by which course should be completed from the date of license allocation? So here, whatever the courses that are created against or by the host, these will be the open courses which will be available anytime. And whenever you create licenses against the times, so obviously it will be interlinked with the courses. So what happens is, like the courses will be available, but once the licenses got expired, for example, it was a 14 days free trial which was given to a tenant. So once the license got expired, obviously the courses whatever is being attached to the licenses will not be seen by the learners. Okay, so whenever they extend the license, so we have an option where we can extend the license for each tenant as well. And that's how the host will have the license management option. So if they want to extend, right now they can contact offline and they'll be able to extend. Once they extend it, obviously your learners will be again able to see the courses back in their dashboard. And here what happens to the transactional data, whatever the users that previously they accomplished, so that that will remain the same. Okay, the transactional data will remain the same once you get back the course on the learners. For example, a learner has completed some 40% of the course, so he'll actually start from there. Okay, that's how the courses transactional data will remain the same and it will be retained. That's what I meant. So next question, I think it is interlinked to the previous one. So thanks for confirming on the suspension. Is there a provision to provide the reason for suspension so the tenant knows why their account is being suspended and take appropriate action? Yes, yes, yeah. Right now, the suspend company function, how it works is, it works in a way where you can directly suspend it. But yes, if you want to mention a reason, definitely we can implement it. I mean to say, whenever they click on suspend, we can pop up some alert windows, something saying like, why do you want to suspend? Please mention the reason. So that can be done. But right now, it's not available in the demo, but it can be implemented. Yeah, we can actually interested in trying a demo. How can we do? Please guide. Yes, we'll be able to share the whatever the demo link that we have. Probably right now it is actually not on our website, but we'll be able to share it with you if you can mention your details to if you can send your hello email to hello@3software.com. We'll be able to set up a demo to you. So right now it's not available on our public website, but we'll be able to share it along with the instructions document and along with an URL so that you can try out and you can check the demo system. Yeah. So I think most of the questions have been answered. If I miss out any questions, probably what you can do is you can post your or send your queries to hello@3softech.com, even to Shashank as well. If you want, you can send him through private chat as well. Then we'll take up that questions and we'll be able to upload it in a document and all the questions, and you will be able to share it with you people so that you can take a look into the questions which were the answers which will be answered for that respective questions. Okay, so yes, I hope
Okay, Videsh. Yeah.
yes.
Thank
So
you for answering the questions and for the great presentation. So this concludes the webinar. So thank you all for attending. We hope you have learned and enjoyed the session. We will close the session. Thank you.
yeah.